Welcome to Let's Keep It Real with our Boy Miss Girl 101. My name is Lydia Washua J, and today we'll be talking about reigniting sexual intimacy in marriage. Don't feel shy if you join this conversation because we are just here to keep it real. A lot of us are having problems that need to be addressed, and today we have a sexpert, a clinical, in fact, she's a certified sexpert, and she's here to give us all the deets. You don't want to go anywhere. Stay tuned till the end. She's already here. Hallelujah. So we are going to get right into it. The topic: reigniting sexual intimacy in marriage. You don't want to miss even one bit of it, because I've been listening to her for a long time and she's good at what she does. So stay tuned. This is Let's Keep It Real with Boy Miss Girl 101. We'll just wait for a few more people to join and then we'll get into it. Whilst we wait, I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors of Let's Keep It Real with Boy Miss Girl 101. They help us month on month to bring you these conversations, and we cannot do it without them. Fragrances and more GH for all your perfumes. Smell good. You have to smell good, single or married. Contact Fragrances and More for that. We have Triple Treat GH for chocolates, affordable, customized, beautiful chocolates for gifts. It is Triple Treat GH. Jira Events to style all your events, where you help you plan from start to finish. Jira Events. Volta Mats, I always say, from the farm straight to your plate or your doorstep. They have you for all the snacky stuff you need, all the food stuff you need. They will get it right to you. And of course, Juice Spot, fresh juices for your events, for the snacks for your kids and all that. Contact Juice Spots for every event you have. You can contact them for that. Pounds World, they make lovely gifts for all occasions. You should see their packages, right? And Be Nice Kitchen Services, delicious yummy foods. They're a restaurant in Tema. They cater for events and everything, and your lunch needs, corporate lunch. If you want to surprise somebody with a food basket, you can contact Be Nice Kitchen Services. Apavon Concepts, you see my flyers, right? All your branding solutions in one place for a company, whether it's a company or an individual, a business online. They've got you covered. You can rest assured that when you give Apavon work to do, you can really trust them to deliver. Wide West African, all your techie needs, all your videos, every video I put out, Wide West African will touch it and make sure that it sells like gold. And of course, Anike by Nisa, all the beads you need, they will make it for you. They'll make gift packages for you of beads, accessories that you need for your loved ones and yourself. For that photo shoot, you need to put in an Anike by Nisa piece and it will be wow. And of course, M-Touch Artistry. You want to look pink, you have a wedding to attend, your own wedding and events, wherever you're going, glam up, and let M-Touch Artistry be the one to glam you up. And of course, Picture Magic. I love photos, so Picture Magic is like magic, right? So any photo shoot you need, if you have an event, you need somebody to do the photography for you, Picture Magic will do that for you. And of course, we are here. We are ready to get into the conversation. It's Let's Keep It Real with Boy Miss Girl 101. As we thank our sponsors, we also want to thank you for joining us tonight to have this conversation with Wholesome Sexuality. We'll add her right now. She's already here. So we'll add her to the conversation and get started. You don't want to go anywhere because into us. Don't miss any bits of this conversation. If you have questions, just drop them in the comments. We're going to ask all those questions for you so that you can, enjoy the session very, very well. Just listen first to what she has for you, and then you can bring in your questions, your comments, read them out, and then, yes, we are live with Wholesome Sexuality. Hi, ma'am. You are really here.
I am.
Yes, thank you so much. Good evening. Yes, and a very Ghanaian Akwaba to you. Welcome to Let's Keep It Real Boy Miss Girl 101. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation to share your wealth of knowledge with our audience. I was just telling them that you're going to point to them. So books, pens, everything should be ready to just take it all in. And if you can't get enough of it, go and watch the replay. Thank you so much. So we'll just begin by asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you.
Okay. Do I say Aquaba? All right. Good evening, everybody. It's amazing to be here. thank God for what's it called? Social media,
Yeah.
IT, internet age, that I'm speaking to a large audience that, and not just in Nigeria, but I'm talking to people based in Ghana and
Yes.
all over the world. It's really humbling.
Yeah.
So my name is Vera Chikeze, okay? I'm a Christian. Then I'm a clinical certified sexuality coach and master sex part. I am also a relationship and marriage counselor, spanning close to 10 years now. What else? Okay, fun fact about me. I studied mathematics and statistics in the University of Lagos, Nigeria.
Wow.
I decided to yes, I decided to put that out there because somebody asked me about myself yesterday, and she said, really wanted to know, how did you move from maths to sex?
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of a very long history, but I always wanted to read medicine. I always wanted to study medicine. So life happened, and I didn't get into the medical school for one reason or the other. That's quite painful, but well, we're here.
Yeah.
And then the medicine or the medical certification that was going to take me 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to get, I got it in 4 months.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm actually a clinical certified. So when it comes to sex, sexuality, sexology, mastering the art of sex, in relationships and otherwise, the way God planned it, I'm your goods person.
Exactly. Exactly. So if you are here, you are in the right place. You are in the right place, and you're going to hear from the right person. Don't go and hear anything on the street side and then be confused. No, listen to her and learn all that you have to learn in this 1 hour that we have. Thank you so much, ma'am. So we want to just get into it. Sexual intimacy. What is sexual intimacy?
Okay, so I would say sexual intimacy means different things for different people. Also means different things for different genders, right? So I would like to separate the word sex and intimacy.
Okay.
Because when you put it together, people think it's the same thing, but it means different things to different genders.
Okay.
So sex for the man is love. I love you. I have sex with you.
Okay.
So when you have sex with a man, it's translated as love. You are telling him that you love him, right?
Okay.
But now sex for the woman is a reward for intimacy.
Okay. Okay.
So you see the
Wow.
difference.
Yeah.
So sex for the woman is a reward for intimacy, but sex for a man just says, I love you. So while the man is, so when the woman is wondering why this man always wants to have sex, he's more like saying, if you love me, you will have sex with me, right?
Okay.
But on the other hand, why it doesn't really work the same way for the woman is because she's waiting for you to make deposits in her emotional tank.
Yeah.
So that's intimacy. So sex for a woman is a reward for intimacy. So we really can't marry the two words together as one.
Yes.
Right. So, but if we want to go by the way it's said, sexual intimacy, or we say want to talk about intimacy, intimacy still means different things to different people. Intimacy generally just means, I like I always say, into me see.
Okay.
So when for you to be intimate with me, you need to see into me.
Yeah.
So, for instance, you're buying me gifts, and all I just want is for you to sit beside me. You are not being intimate with me because you are not reading, I am not getting the vibes of what I want.
Okay.
So, intimacy in short term is into me, see. So, when you see into me, then you translate what you are saying, and when you bring out what you are saying, I begin to melt like, this guy gets me. This person gets me, right? So you really can't marry those two words together because they mean different things to different genders and different people.
Okay. Okay. Please, are you all downloading? If you are downloading, tell us in the comments, because this is loaded already, and that is just one question. One question. Intimacy means different things to different genders. A woman will see intimacy differently as compared to a man. So please, let's be on the same page on this very first one, so that a lot of confusion is cleared up and a lot of the fights do not have to happen, because we are different genders and our understanding of the word, the whole sexual intimacy is different, will vary because of our genders. Okay, so I was just telling some people, I went to the salon to do my hair, and I was just telling them about the program that they should, they were telling me they were going to tune in. So we were discussing how a lot of women, and in fact even men, are suffering in their relationships because they don't want to talk about sexual intimacy. A man feels like if it's not going well, it's an attack on his ego or his, and a woman feels like if I go and talk about it, it will be like I'm telling him he's not man enough. Or if a woman is not good enough and a man wants to tell her, he feels like, how is she going to take it? Does she think that I find other people attractive and all that? Do you think that without the effort of both parties, we can have a good sexual intimacy in a marriage? Does it rest on one person, the husband or the wife, or both parties have to come to play to make it work?
Okay, so the Bible says that two shall become one. That means that when the two parties come together, they're no longer saying, it's no longer me and you, it's about us. Okay. So the same way for our marriage to work, the both of us have to put in the work, right? For sex to work in the marriage, we both have to put in the work, right? We should be comfortable. I wouldn't want to use the word should, right? Because it now comes from it sounds like compulsion, right? But well, we are supposed to be comfortable with having conversations. Hi Tolu, having these conversations with your spouse. So that's why I always start from talking to people that are about to get married. You really need, if you are not, it starts like my pastor will say, sorry, I always mention my pastor's name because that's my mentor. My pastor will say, if the whole issue starts from the problem of choice, right? You chose to marry this person, right? In the choosing of marrying this person, you have said to yourself that as a woman now, you're saying that you're submitting yourself to the kingship of this person. That means that I trust this person's ruling. I trust this person's, I trust that this person is responsible. I trust the head on his body. That means that I'm dedicating, I'm trusting my whole being to this person. Likewise, the man. If the man is saying that I'm going to get married to you, these are the same things he's saying, right? Because when people go to the altar and they say, I do is beyond those two words. I do means that I pledge myself to you. I pledge my body to you. I pledge my spirit to you. I pledge my soul to you. I pledge my finances to you. As in that, this is what you are saying. So if you cannot confidently make these pledges to this person, you have no business marrying this person in the first place. Now, we also have the issue where arranged marriages, father points hand here, say, I have a ripe daughter in my house, blah, blah, blah. They use it to seal, they use it to seal business deal, use it to seal family conglomerates and all whatnot. So some people find themselves in marriages that they have no business being in, right? So, but now that you are here, what do? You need to find a way to communicate your needs to your spouse, right? I know that as Christians, we understand the principle that says no sex before marriage, right? We understand that principle that there's no sex before marriage. The Bible says no, and this is supposed to be sex is for husband and his own wife. So it's two of us in the marriage that has this thing. Like I put something I put up yesterday when I was putting up the flyer for this event. I said you're going to have sex as a marriage couple. You're going to have sex for the rest of your life. So it go make sense. May you enjoy them. right?
You should,
So
yes.
yes, you should enjoy it.
Yes.
So while we are trying to think about the things that are going on in your mind, you should be able to communicate these things to your spouse. And then as a spouse, whether the man or the woman, you should also be able to create an enabling environment whereby your partner or your spouse can be able to be free to communicate. The Bible says that they were naked and unashamed, right? It's a problem if you cannot communicate with your spouse. It's a problem if you cannot say, these are the things that I want, are the things that I'm going through. This is what I think we should do, right? Or how do you think we should do for the betterment of our relationship? Because when the bed starts having a problem, it will definitely affect the marriage.
Wow.
So it takes the two people in the marriage to make it work.
Thank you. Wow. I'm just writing away. I've forgotten that I'm the one supposed to be asking the questions. Okay, so I really like the angle that you brought in, where sometimes we're already in the situation. You didn't have control over the marriage. You've gotten into it already. What do you do now? It's not like all hope is lost.
No.
You need to talk about it. And we should be at a point where we are friends enough so that if I have any, problems with how our sex, our intimacy is going in our marriage, I should be able to comfortably tell my husband, and he should be able to receive it without feeling like it's an attack on his,
him.
Yes. And like she said, when the bed starts having problems, the marriage will suffer. I'm going to write this quote somewhere and post it. It's important. And I mean, if sex wasn't important in marriage, I was just having this thought a couple of days ago that if it wasn't important in marriage, God won't ask us to save it for marriage. Then he will just leave it, like, just, go about it as you please. But it is a crucial part of marriage, in as much as we want to act like it isn't.
Let me add here that sex is a covenant meal. Sex is a covenant meal, right? And when the Bible says that a man shall leave his wife, for this cause shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave to his own wife, and the two shall become one, right? They say these things to us at the altar when we're getting married. After we've said our vows and whatnot, and then the pastor or the presiding minister says, for this cause shall a man and leave his father and his mother and cleave to his own wife, and two shall become one. Let me bust you. Two don't become one by what the pastor just said. Two don't become one by the rings. Two don't become one by laying of hands. Two don't become one by signing the dotted lines on the marriage certificates until you have consummated that marriage. That's when the true image of God comes in. Remember that when God created Adam, he created everything and said, oh, it's all good. But it was only after Adam that he came back and said, it's not good for man to be alone. And then he put him to sleep. And he took out of Adam and made Eve, right? Whenever Adam and Eve comes together in intercourse, they become one, which is the true image of God. And remember, he said, let us make man in our own image. So he made man in the image of God, right? And then he took from man and made woman. So the only time the perfect image of God is complete is when there's intercourse between the husband and his wife. You now see how important it is. It's so important that even our legal system acknowledges it. Yeah. If a marriage has not been consummated sexually, it is open for annulment. Until they have sex, that marriage is not recognized even by the law. Yeah. So that's how important sex is. So it's a covenant meal. So if it was not that important, God would not have said, hold on. If it was not that heavy, he wouldn't have said, hold on. There won't have been any restriction to it. The restriction in even in marriage is, it's, you know, I saw a publication, somebody did a reels and talked about fasting and sex. Fasting and sex, right? And she now put in her comment section and said, when we are fasting, we're not even supposed to be having sex at all. And somebody tagged me. I looked at it and I laughed. Right. I read it and I laughed. You know, I'm not the one to go and be doing trolling and be checking what other people are saying. No, I'm in my lane.
Yeah.
When you come into my lane, I will answer you. Right. Yeah. But I looked at it and I laughed. The only place in the Bible where the restriction for sex in marriage is during a fast. And he also, in that fast, it says consent, mutual consent between the husband and the wife. That means both of you have to agree that we are doing this thing. And guess what? He's not doing it titi lai. He's not doing it for eternity. It's also for a short period of time. Because even God knows that the moment that crack comes in, all manner of evil work would come in. So if your husband says, this fast you're fasting, sex is not inside it, you will finish you fast and you will come and still give him his food. When I mean his food, I mean his sexual food. You will still come and give him his food. But if both of you are in agreement, so when you want to go on a fast on your own, you will be discussing how long is the fast. Okay, are we adding sex to it? Oh no, we're not adding sex to it. Okay, since we're not adding sex to it, okay, so that means we can have sex during the fast. If you go on your own and you're going to fast without the consent of your spouse, and you are depriving your spouse of his or her sexual right, your fast is null and void. It's null and void. That's how important sex is. The Bible says it. God knows it. The devil knows it. That's why all he does is to pervert what God has created. Let me let you ask your questions.
Okay. Wow, this is a lot. I'm just wondering if the 1 hour will be enough for us. So I see a lady and another gentleman saying that they find it difficult to talk to their partners about their sex life because they feel like it's an attack on them. I don't know if they joined after you answered the question, but if you can quickly address that for them. The lady says that when she tells her husband about their sex life, that it's not good enough, he feels like it's an attack on him. The guy also says that the wife complains whenever he talks about their sex life. And one person also says that the wife says, is it good?
Okay, so there's a reason why let's take it biologically, right? Biologically, the man has a higher testosterone, right? So that's why he always wants to have sex. And testosterone is basically the hormone responsible for sex drive, the hormone responsible for libido, right? The man is producing 1,000 to 1,200. The woman is producing 100 to 200. So it's not even making. There's no comparison, right? So that's the reason why the man always wants to have sex. Right. So that from my teachings, I usually always come first and let you know that the man is different from the woman. If you can understand our differences and take advantage of those differences to make them work for you, don't fight it, accept it. And so because he has testosterone, so you should just be asking for sex every day. It's not his fault, basically. Right. Yeah. But it now takes both of you to sit down and say, okay, let's communicate. You have to communicate it. Then there will be a place for compromise. Okay, you want 7 times, I want 5 times. Sir, can you do 6 times? Okay, Ma, can you come up to 6 times? That's conversations. The same way you guys have dialogue about school fees. The same way you have dialogue about business deals. The same way you have dialogue about family. That's the same way you sit down and have conversations about your sex life. The issue basically about sex conversations is because people still have the mindset that sex is dirty. People still have the mindset that sex is dirty. So when you're coming from a place of this thing we're talking about is a dirty thing, you now start coming with guilt. How will I be talking about this thing? How do I even, when I talk about, people ask me, how do you say it? It's a word. It's a word. Sex is a word. The same way you say any other, the same way I say this charger, or I say this table, or I say come here. It's a word, right? So because of how the world has perverted sex, what the beautiful thing God created, we now think it's dirty. And when you think it's dirty, you approach it from a place of guilt. You approach it from, okay, because it's dirty, I'm not supposed to be doing it, right? So as I'm doing it now, even in marriage, I cannot even talk about it. The Bible says when he made them, they were naked and unashamed. That also translates to me in marriage, that you should be naked and unashamed with your spouse. When you're having conversations with your spouse, you should be vulnerable. If you're not vulnerable with your spouse, I mean, who else? Who else can you be vulnerable with? I understand that a lot of people find it difficult to do this. But what I'm saying to you is that this is what it should be. You can demand it and you can do it. You can demand it and you can do it. So having conversation with your wife, I know that from the women's angle, we've been told you should not have sex before marriage. If you once you start seeing your menstrual period, if a man touches you, you will get pregnant. You will bring shame on the family and not whatnot. Some women even take it all the way. When they get to the altar, they cannot kiss their husband, and all these things. Yes, it's the engineering. It's the society, is what we have been told. And so we carry these things and then we come in and we don't even now know how to switch from don't do to do and enjoy. So you see where the problem is. But it also comes from the choice of who you marry. When you marry your friend, marriage is not all about sex.
Yeah.
Because you see, the breast will sag, the hip will flap. Yes, the breast will sag, the hips will flap, right? The penis will not be able to maintain a basic erection. The erection starts dwindling down, right? These are things that as you get older in marriage, or as you get older in age, not just marriage, as you get older in age, these are the things that you start noticing about your anatomy. But you see, what sustains that relationship is the friendship you built. The friendship you built while you were dating. The friendship you built while you were building your relationship. The friendship of, I can tell this guy anything. Anything that's happening to me, I'm thinking in my head, the first person I want to talk to is my husband. No matter how excited I am, if he's not available at that time, I'll rather leave him a message or call him something, because this is my guy.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be. But the problem we have nowadays is that people now bring the sex before the relationship. So you've already had sex and you're now clouded. You're not now able to have proper conversations with the person you're in a relationship with. Like I always say here, the courtship is a time for interview, not intercourse. Courtship is time for interview, not intercourse. You see, when you start having intercourse in that relationship, your mind gets clouded. You start clouding your mind. You can't think straight. You cannot make clear decisions because you have already exchanged body fluids with this person. Now you're no longer able to make clear decisions. Every decision you want to make is dependent on how this person will feel, or how I will feel because I have given this person everything.
Yeah.
So if I see the truth, I can't tell this person the truth any longer because I feel like I've given this person everything. So when the intercourse comes before the interview and the marriage, when it comes before the interview and the marriage, at the time when you're supposed to be having intercourse in your marriage, you now have to be having conversations. I did not know. Is this how you are? You did not tell me, sir. They didn't tell you. You did not ask. When you were supposed to be asking, you were busy taking off the clothes.
Yeah.
Now you are taking off clothes. You've seen everything. Finish everything. You've seen everything.
What now?
Reality sets in. What next? What next? Reality now sets in. So what next? So you see, conversations, all these conversations are supposed to be had during courtship. You build your friendship, you build your relationship, you build the foundation on which your family would stand. Is during courtship. It's during courtship. I have a lot of single people coming to me saying, oh, I've been in a relationship for 4 years, and because I said I want to keep myself till marriage, the guy now, he's now acting up. He's not your own. Mm-hmm. Yes, I know that there are some people that it has worked for. Right? There's an Igbo adage, I don't know how to say it that you understand it, but it basically means that what you don't know does not know you. The moment you become aware of this thing, right, you start having convictions. You start having convictions, and that's where guilt starts coming in. And the devil will now sit on you and now telling you you're not good enough. You have sinned against God. Who are you to call his name? You have done this, you have done that, and that basically is what the devil builds on and creates his case on. So the time for these conversations is during the time of building. It's during the time of building, which is during courtship. Now imagine that, like I said, there's some people that it worked for and they ended up getting married, right? Okay, now we are married. We need to have these conversations. What do you like? Like I tell the single people, so any sex outside of marriage is not the same thing as sex inside marriage. It's not the same thing at all. Even if the person you had sex with is the person you ended up getting married to, it's not the same thing. I will tell you, and that's because I've been able to talk to counsel a lot of people. I got married a virgin, so I don't, if I'm saying from experience, it didn't kind of work because I did not have any experience. But counseling people and then doing my certification course and stuff like that, and scriptural, right? I understood this. And this is because when you were single, you were having sex with your boyfriend, not your husband. Or you were having sex with your girlfriend, not your wife. When you cross that line of boyfriend, girlfriend, and enter husband, wife, is a whole different ball game. While you were dating, you were stealing. I'll go there. Yes, because it's not yours. Let me give an analogy. You are cooking at home while you were in your father's house, right? When you cook, even though you know that, see this meat, this stew, we're still going to have a share in it. You now take one meat, you hide to eat it. You hide to eat it. Then you now get married. You now find out that even in your marriage, you'll be hiding. But this thing is my own now.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So the guilt, the conviction, everything is still going to be there. Now, in the change of the human beings, right, there's an excitement, there's a rush of adrenaline when you're taking something that's not your own. Mm-hmm. Now that is your own, you don't say and finish. What's the excitement about any longer?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah. Like they say, jollof rice on fire is sweeter than jollof rice when it's done.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
Same way. So while it's on fire, you cannot keep your hand out of it. You'll be eating it. It will burn your tongue. Yeah. It will burn your tongue. Then when the rice is now done, you try to eat that same rice it becomes tasteless. Why?
Yeah.
You have burnt your taste buds. Same thing. When you have sex outside of marriage and you come into marriage, you begin to compare this man you have married to all the other men you've had
Exactly.
sex with.
Exactly.
Right. There's another saying. Sorry, I grew up with my mother, my grandmother. There's another saying that says, oh gosh, it just skipped my head. But I wanted to say something about this same eating it before it. Yes, your mother's jollof is the sweetest until you taste another person's jollof.
Yeah.
That's when you know that there's something called white Maggi. That's when you know that there's something called atadudu. That's better pepper, hot pepper. You'll not be wondering, what has my mother been cooking all these years? You understand? What has my mother been cooking all these years? You now have things to compare it with.
Yeah.
But if you grew up eating only your mother's food, you have nothing to compare. Your mother is the best cook until you taste another person's food.
Exactly.
So bringing back to sex, we're saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing. It's sweet when you're taking it, but your tongue will get burnt because you're taking it hot. You might even get caught. Maybe when you're cutting the carrot and you quickly try to put one in your mouth, you cut yourself. These are the dangers you've exposed your body to. When you now get into marriage, this man is doing, or this woman is doing all she can.
It's not enough
To please you, and your head is in somebody or something, because sometimes it's not a human being. It could actually be a movie you've been watching. It could be pornography. You're comparing the innocent person with you now with an image of somebody else or something else. It can never work. The only way it can work is if we block out those images by what we call factory resets. Take it back to factory resets, and then start feeding that mind with the right images, the right thoughts, the right way. That's the only way it can work. So if you're having an issue communicating with your spouse what the matter is or what it is, my first question will also be, how are you doing that communication? Because is it an attack, my darling? You just started to say, what was that? What did you, what was that? What just happened? Your mates are going 5, 6, 7 rounds. Come on, half.
What are you doing?
Half you cannot even do. That person, you have dealt, you've smashed the person's ego, you've smashed the person's self-esteem. It can't work. So are you attacking the person, or are you actually having a conversation that is beneficial to both of you? So instead of saying, what did you just do? How about to say, like I have a video on YouTube called Communication in Sex. You communicate before, you communicate during, and my favorite is called appraisal. You communicate after. So after it, before, you don't bring the bad first. You start with, oh, that was a good time. Right? I really liked what we just did. But I think I preferred when you actually spent more time on my neck. You see here, I really liked when you were here. Maybe next time, we would spend time there. But you first told him or her that, man, what was that? That was
good.
That was good.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. And then the receiving party, just know that, hello, it's not about you. The person is not trying to make you feel bad, right? It's not about you. Everything is not about you. So that's why we always say you should have a huge dose of self-esteem and joy when you're coming into marriage, because a lot of things will happen. It's really not about you. It's feedback. No business prospers without feedback, both negative and positive. When you get the positive feedback, you try to do better and keep, doing more of that positive. When you get the negative feedback, you go back to your drawing board and find out, what did I do wrong? How can I do it better? And the best way to know how to do it better is still to ask the person giving you a feedback.
Yeah.
You didn't like this thing. What did I do that you didn't like? How do you think I can do it better? Oh, I don't like the way you touch my breast. I don't know. Okay, how can I touch it better? Okay, don't worry. When we are doing it, I will tell you, pay attention. I'll tell you how to do it, right? Don't get carried away when you are in the acts. That's another thing. Don't get carried away in the acts. You should be conscious of the person you are pleasing, because sex should be about pleasing and giving and receiving pleasure from your spouse. So you should be conscious. You should be in it.
Yeah.
Should not be mindless. You should be in it. Let's know, what am I doing right? What am I not doing right? How can I do it better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ask another question.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's very important that we realize and we understand that sex is not about the man or the woman. It's for both of us. It's a mutual pleasure that we both need to get. It shouldn't be that one person is okay and the other person is not. And in that, with that understanding, you also make the effort so that if you like something, talk about it. If you don't like something, talk about it, but in a loving way. Just like how if you're not doing something right, you would want it said to you. In the same way, when your partner is not doing something right, you tell them, but in a loving way. It's just like sitting in an appraisal at work. You don't lead with a bad. You go in with a good, then you eventually lower the rest down to the person that you are praising. So please, ladies and gentlemen, let's take note of this. When you are talking to it is important to talk to your partner about sex, because sex is important in your marriage. Before somebody starts to step out and give excuses that it's not good, that's why, I mean, nothing excuses cheating, nothing at all. You need to communicate. If it's not going well, it is your partner. Your partner is supposed to be your friend. Talk about it. Let them know. And somebody who loves you will be willing to do better. Not just say that, that is what I can do. No. If you love your partner, something is not going well, you want to do better. In the same way, if the sex is not going well, your partner tells you, you should be ready to do better. I think you have touched on the next question, but I still want to bring it in. That is it normal that sex, well, the quality of sex wanes after marriage? A lot of people, you see them like before they get married, they say that, oh, we were good together, we really enjoyed sex before marriage, and they get married and it's, then there are also those who they didn't have sex before marriage. They went into marriage. The first year, 2 years, it was good. Now it's like, I can't be bothered. It's just like going downhill, downhill, downhill. Is that what it's supposed to be? Because a lot of people think that, hey, you should have sex before marriage, because once you get married, there's nothing. You will just be thinking about children, school fees, and people, that is what is filling people's minds. And then so they want to take what they can get now before they get married. Is that what should happen? Is it the case that once you get married, sex should go downhill, or there is something that some might not be doing right that is causing that?
Okay, so I will use my story as an example, right? So growing up, every young girl my age, we loved to read romance novels.
Yeah.
So,
Harlequin,
romance, Mills and Jones, and all them, all them, right? So you see these books, these movies, they give us a mindset of what sex should be, right? So we had built a mindset of what sex should be. And so when we now keep ourselves, you will hear some men come and tell you, say, when we were dating, she told me she would deal with me. She told me that, she said, the wedding night, I go take, this one, that. We reached there and I did not see anything.
I just remembered one imagery I had about, like, reading all those Harlequin books and a man coming on a horse. It was usually like farm place stories and all that.
Open chest, head, with his cowboy hat, and with his well chiseled chin and everything.
Yeah.
Not nothing. So these things now develop a mindset of what sex should be, right? And then we go into marriage, and then hello, you did not marry Salvador,
Oh. Oh.
right? You didn't
Yeah.
marry somebody,
Yeah.
right? You didn't marry knights in shiny armor. You married one guy. You married one guy along the road, oh, in this our Lekki road. One guy like that, I just saw, you don't like, right? And then you cannot be expecting what Salvador was doing from this guy that you got married to. It's not possible.
Yeah.
It's not possible. So there is that you know, the what's that thing called? Cut expectation. Expectation cut short.
Yeah.
So you're coming in with high expectation, and then you get in there, and you're like, is this it? Is that all? But you see, where the problem is, when you come in and you find that it's not what you expected, it's as in it wasn't as your mind has fantasized about it. That's a good place to start saying, okay, oh, this is what I thought, oh, right? How can we, what can we, you understand? And then you seek help. If the person is not, because I've been seeing somebody here saying his wife this, his wife that, I'm a marriage counselor. And number one rule is never take sides with one person.
Yeah.
You cannot judge a matter based on what one person is saying, right? Because by the time you hear from the wife now, you'll be surprised, and we're already pity for him. Oh. We know that he too, he has, and stuff. So it takes the two people in it. Now, one of the reasons why, you are making noise that, oh, when I was single, I used to swing from farm to farm, blah, 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 blah. Probably you were just one young girl, size 8, and then you got married. You now ate the fruit of marriage. You now moved to 10. Then you now got pregnant. You now give birth. You now enter 12. How do you want to swing, ma? You understand? Life happens.
Yeah.
Life happens. Unmet expectations. Life happens. And then if you didn't even have, so when you are saying that you enjoyed sex as a single person before you got married, when you were a single person, we've already talked about it, you were committing thievery, you were stealing. And stolen waters, you know what the Bible says about stolen waters? It's sweet. It's sweet. It's sweet. So you come in here now, and because life is happening to you, you're no longer able to do what you used to do. So it's not the sex that is the problem, it's the individuals in the marriage that are the problem now, that needs to get help. So before you get into that marriage, can we kind of renew the mind? Renew the mind. Factory resets. Factory resets. Before we now start coming into the marriage, even if the person you were having sex with outside of before marriage was or turns out to be your spouse, turns out to be the person you are married to, you still need to renew your mind. Right? And then it's not supposed to dwindle down. It's supposed to skyrocket. It's supposed to go up. Now, this is my own. It's my right. The same way we believers, we have our Bible, and our Bible already tells us this and this and this and this are our inheritance. Yeah. Right. But some of us still operate below our inheritance. This is for us. We know, but we are afraid to collect it. We are timid to ask for it, to place a demand on it. Good sex is your right in marriage. Place
Thank you.
a demand on it. It's your right in marriage. Place a demand on it and accept it. It's okay for you to enjoy sex. It's okay for you to give good sex to your spouse. It's okay. It's okay. And then the question of how will I know? What will I know? You don't know. That's the way God asks for it to happen. You shouldn't know. The whole idea is by the time we come in naked and unashamed, two of us we've not done before, right? We now start exploring, discovering, evolving, growing, every day is better. You see where Bible scripture says the glory of the latter shall surpass that of the former. Let me even tell you something. You know, I was putting together, a lot of people have been coming and saying they want to, how do they know the styles to do in marriage and blah, 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 blah. So I was putting together a book on sex styles, right? And in the process of my research, I found out that I've done most of these things. I just do not know the names.
Yeah.
So it's in the place of exploring. Okay, you're lying down and he's on top of you and he's not comfortable. How about maybe you lift your legs a bit, or you open your legs a bit, or you raise your waist a bit? Everything, every move you make tilts or alters the style a bit, and it gives a different sense of pleasure. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Every alteration you make alters the style a bit, gives you some sort of comfort and heightened pleasure.
Yeah.
Right. So when you are doing these things, but you see, the fun fact in it is that I'm doing it with my husband.
Yeah. You
I'm
don't
doing
have
it with
to
my
be
husband.
afraid of getting pregnant. Is he sleeping with somebody else?
I get pregnant, I born. I get pregnant, I born.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Nobody's coming to ask me any question. I'm doing it with my husband. So where the problem is most times is that because of that, see that mindset that sex is this is a lie from the devil. That mindset that sex is dirty, that's what keeps stealing from us in marriage. If you come in with the boldness that I am satisfied, I have my marriage certificates that says that this thing is my own. With my full chest, I come to collect. Do you understand? It gives you some sort of confidence as you come in. And that's what I'm trying to raise sexually confident wives. You come in, as you're coming into your bedroom, there's this confidence you're coming in with that, tonight, you have thought about it. What am I going to do to this man today? As he's just seeing you, you are thinking, how do I, what will I do to this guy this night? Do that kind of thing. You are thinking it. And as you're thinking it, even if the devil comes and say, see what I think, you say, okay, come out. It's my own.
It's my birthright.
My birthright.
This one is my own husband. My own wife.
It's my own. I have the right to, plan how. Yeah. And that's part of what brings the excitement in the whole act, because you are thinking about it, you are excited about it, and you want to explore more with your own spouse. With your own spouse. I'm going to ask you a question, so your time is great.
This is loaded. I feel like if we end here, we have done more than enough. But I want to know. So let's say I marry as a virgin, but my partner is experienced, or I marry experienced, my husband is not sexually experienced. How do we bridge the gap? I know one thing is communication. What else can we do to make sure that none of us feels like I can't do this? Or, sometimes teaching somebody what to do can be a little bit of work, especially when they are not open-minded. I'm answering the question. Please tell us, what can we do if one person is experienced, the other is not?
Okay. Experience does not mean expert.
Thank you.
So the fact that you've been doing it does not mean that you even know what to do. Probably the people you are doing it with are mediocre.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah. So it still starts from taking away that mind first, right? Then, secondly, you've already talked about communication. The most important thing is patience.
Patience.
Patience from both parties. So now he has had sex before. I have not had sex before. I'm giving an instance. So your husband and getting married has had sex before, but you have not had sex before. So you need to be patient with yourself, right? To grow into what both of you would enjoy. He needs to be patient with you to let you grow. Most times when we have the issue is that this person was experienced, right? Or has had experiences, right? And then now married somebody that has zero experience. But along the line, the person with zero experience now becomes radical and, ready to break walls and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who taught you? You now come with shoulder pad, but I'm the one that knew before you. Because that's the mindset. That's the mindset a lot of these people come in with. The reason they want to marry virgin is because they don't want somebody that has sexual prowess. They don't want somebody that's sexually confident. They want somebody that they will intimidate in the bedroom. Do you understand? So the moment the lady or the man now starts, learning things and getting sexually confident, it becomes a problem. So like I said, patience on both sides. Yeah. You that you've had experience, you need to be patient enough for this person to come up, and patient with yourself too, because where you need the patience is in the line of the fact that I've done it before does not mean that I've done it with this person, so I might not even be able to please this person. So be patient with yourself. You might also have spread all yourself outside finish, and you're not coming to give the crumbs to the person that has not done anything. Be patient with yourself that you also learn how to please this person. So patience and communication is what bridges the gap between experience and inexperience.
Thank you.
Sorry, I need to write that thing down because it just came out.
Thank you. Yes, and please, let's all take note that sex, like has already been said, sex is for both of you, the pleasure of both man and woman. The wife should enjoy sex, the man should also enjoy sex. And wholesome sexuality is raising sexually confident wives. So if you know you have a problem with being a confident wife or even a confident man, I'm sure she would have a package for that. Please follow, DM, you'll get a link to a WhatsApp number, send a message, get help, because sex should be enjoyed. I find it very grueling that some men would justify the sex not being good in their marriage so that they can cheat, or some women justifying sex not being good in marriage so they can cheat. If you need help, get help. It's just like premarital counseling. The same way you can get counseling after marriage. Counseling does not only end as soon as you exchange your vows. No. After you get married, if there's any issue, trust your counselor. Just as you trusted your counselor before the marriage, trust them to help you. Don't suffer. Marriage is not supposed to be endured. You're supposed to enjoy your marriage. So something is not going well, the sex is not going well, don't sit on it and perish. Talk about it, because it is your birthright. You're supposed to enjoy sex in your marriage. This one is no, hey, am I going to get STD? Do you have a condom thing? There, no. You are enjoying it. So make sure that you are enjoying it. If you are not, please, Wholesome Sexuality is here. Click.
Yeah, we have a package called premarital sex counseling. So you're about to get married the same way you go for premarital marriage counseling. Because so the fact that the person is a marriage counselor does not mean the person is a sex therapist or the sex counselor. Yeah. Right. So we have a package for premarital sex counseling to prepare you for sex in marriage. Right. And then your topic actually is a full package in wholesome sexuality. It's called Reigniting Sex in a Sexless Marriage. Right. So it's for couples. Yeah. They come in and they are trained on what to do and how to do what to do. Yeah. Right. So we have packages.
Yes. So people, you have that. Please send a DM today and get the help you need. Enjoy the sex in marriage. The home you are living in, somebody's just saying, explore each other, explore all the rooms in your house. Do what you can to make your marriage spicy. Don't say that you should go for a side chick or whatever. No, it is your own husband.
My issue with that statement is, where does self-control, or what happens to self-control? If it's not because that's the excuse people are giving now, that, oh, the woman did not do this well. If she was feeding her husband well, he will not go outside. What happens to self-control? What happens to self-control? Where is the place of self-control? Or the man was not doing well, the man was not available, was not emotionally available, he was not physically available, he was not sexually available, then you went out. Okay, man, what happens to self-control? Is it every time you feel like slapping somebody that you go out and slap Mopo?
Thank you.
You
You
won't
have
do
just
that.
answered the question that somebody is asking. How to stop premarital sex? Self-control. Who would you want to honor your
Self-control.
body with? If you want to honor your boyfriend or your girlfriend with your body, cool. But if you want to honor God with your body, you know what he says. And my main point is, we are Christians, we already know this. My point that I always argue is that if you have sex before marriage, you have so much to compare it to. So you get married and it's like, this one, John was better, or Jemima was better, and you are always, no matter what they do, it's not good enough because you have seen something else. But if you can help it, I mean, if you've done it already, okay, please try and get it out of your mind, seek help. But if you haven't, this is one good reason, apart from the fact that your faith is against that, your God, you're supposed to honor God with your body. This is another good reason. The psychology, the burden of always having something to compare to, it is not pleasant and you don't want to go that way. Yes, I think you wanted to add something to that.
Okay, to the primary.
Yeah.
So I have a webinar I do for singles. It's called Virgin and Thriving. And one of the major ways to thrive as a virgin or as somebody that wants to now practice sexual purity, because it's not virginity that God asked us for. He asked us for sexual purity, right? So there are some people that are virgins because they have not been penetrated, but they're not sexually pure. That's a different topic for another day, because that's a whole topic on its own, right? So the first question I always ask is, what is your why? If your why is not strong enough, you would be blown away by every wind of doctrine. What is your why? Oh, I want to stay a virgin. Why? Why do you want to stay a virgin? Because my mother said, so the day your mother say, what happened? You are 35. You have not married. When I'm gonna get my grandchildren, you go and have sex. Oh, because the church says so. The rates at which we are going now, churches are saying plenty things. They're saying plenty things. So if your why is not strong enough, if you don't know your why, you would fall by the wayside. So what is your why? The only why that should keep you. And there's this saying that when God gives you a vision, he sends provision. So if you are waiting because you want to honor God with your body and your relationship, he would provide the grace needed for you to keep yourself sexually pure. He's the only one that can give you the vision and the provision for it. So what is your why? The second thing usually is date who has the same values with you. So the person you are dating should not be waiting because of you. The person you are dating is waiting because of you. The day you yourself fall on the wayside, two of you are going to fall because the person was just waiting for you. Right? But if both of you are looking onto God, so this is the way the relationship should be. This is the man, this is the woman, pleasing God. The more they please God, the closer they become. It's a triangle. Can you see?
Yeah.
And the closer they get to God, the closer they get to each other. Are you saying it?
Yeah.
So this is the way it should be. I'm on my own. I'm not here to please you. I'm here to please God.
Yeah.
I'm not here to please you. I'm here to please God. So we are both looking onto God, and that's the way it will be. So we form we get to the thing, which is God. So it should be about God. And when it's about God, it says, seek me first. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and every other thing shall be added. Don't take, or I say take note. It's not easy. It's not easy. Even after you have said they are doing it because of God, there are principles you need to put in place. There are principles you need to put in place to make sure that you fulfill what God has called you to do.
Yeah. Yeah. You have just answered my next question. I was going to ask you that. So people who are single, people who are unmarried, how do they prepare for sexual intimacy in marriage? Let's go to that question because you've answered my next question, and then we'll end it there.
Okay, so how do you prepare as a single person? You are single, you are not in a relationship. There's no preparation for you. Yes, because why are you lighting the cooker when you don't have plan to cook? Right?
They are
Why are
trusting
you
God for
lighting the
provision.
cooker? Why are you lighting the cooker when you don't have plan to cook? Do you understand? It's not for you. It's not for you, right? But now you are in courtship. So I would like to make the difference, state the difference between courtship and dating. Dating, you are going on dates. Courtship is from the point where the period between when you are asked to marry and the day you get married. That means that courtship is dating with a goal. It has an end point in sight. Not that we are trusting God to get married. Are you feeling the difference?
Yeah.
It has an end point. It has a date. Will you marry me when yes, I will. Okay. So when are we getting married? November 24th. So that's my wedding date. You're getting married November 24th. And then, okay, so we're getting married December. So from the day I agreed to marry to November 24th, that was my courtship. Right. During courtship, remember I said that courtship is not a time for intercourse, but a time for interview. It's during courtship we start asking these questions. It's during courtship we start finding out, oh, this, that. Oh, what do you think? Go on, what do you think about sex before marriage? I know the Bible says this. And then personally, I really don't think it's right. I want to keep myself for my spouse. I can't wait for that night. You are jotting down. Say, even me, that's what I want to do. Hey, are you sure? Really, I want to hear from you. Why? Is it because I just said that? No, give your own backing. This is what you want, and this is the reason you've been waiting. Or, okay, sometime in my life, right, I had sex with somebody, and I've regretted it, I've repented of it, and I've decided now that I want to honor God with my body and my relationship. Right. Oh, okay. So we now know where both of us are standing. And then we now have, see, when you're courting, you need to have an authority that both of you, that is responsible for both of you. You need to have an authority figure over that relationship. So you now have who you are accountable to. This is not the person that when your body is doing you, it's gas. You will not say, hello, ma. It's that day, so he came around and we're just listening. Oh, my body was just say, I know when we need to, the person now starts telling you what you need to do. Because you know that you are accountable to this person. Are you saying you will not mess up?
Yeah.
You will not mess up.
Yeah.
And because the other person, your spouse, your would be, also know that both of you are accountable to this person, not your friend.
Yeah.
An authority figure over your relationship, and not your parents. Your parents. But our parents can be sentimental. Your pastor, your mentor, right? Somebody that can call you to order. Okay, I get messages sometimes. Hello, ma. I'm going to see so and so person. We wanted to have some discussions with his parents, blah 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 blah. I know what not. Or we are traveling. Maybe the parents are out of state. we're traveling to see his parents, right? And then we'll be staying over. The parents have refused us getting a hotel room, blah, 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 blah. Please, ma, help. You will be calling. Yeah, you will not be sending message at odd hours. You should, how are you? Where are you now? What's on your mind? What are you thinking about? You know, things like that. Somebody you're that you're accountable to. So these conversations would be hard, but it should not be hard as boyfriend and girlfriend. It should be hard as we there's something that's called not restricted. That's the word I'm trying to use, Sha, but it's kind of means restricted in a controlled environment. In a controlled environment where you know that you cannot just come up clothes anyhow. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
And
So
then
I
you
want
come
to
to
ask you.
Wholesome Sexuality, we'll help you.
Exactly. We have a very last question that I want to ask you. It was somebody from the audience. What time in a courtship should you talk about sex? Is there
I've
a
just
particular?
answered it.
Okay.
I've just
Okay.
answered it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
In the courtship, right, you can have conversations about sex. That's why I first defined what courtship is. Not when so people they interchange the term courting, dating. Courtship, it means that we have agreed to get married and we're getting married on these dates. So the period between when we agreed and the day we get married, that's courtship. Anything you're doing outside of this is not courtship. It's not courtship.
So within that time frame, you can talk about it.
Yes, you can talk about it. And then when you start getting uncomfortable, make sure that you have somebody, an authority figure over your relationship. Somebody that you're accountable to. Right. In my church, you are assigned to marriage counselors. Right. So when you are assigned to marriage counselors, most of the questions you're not able to ask him or her when you are together. You just throw it during the counseling. No, you throw it in within the counseling. The counselor will now help and mediate, will be a mediator between the both of you, and you get clarity on things. The problem we have in this generation is they don't want to get help. They don't want to get counseling. They just want to marry. Marry is hungering them. I'm 35. Yes, I spoke to a couple one time, and why did you get married to him? Because I had to.
Wow.
You don't want to marry. They don't want to do the right things. They don't want to do the work. Some people even do counseling because they just want to tick the box that they have done it. They don't do it.
You can't get married in church, so you have to do it.
Exactly. They just want to tick the box that they have done it. So these are the advantages of counseling. During this counseling that you talk about, you bring up these things. You say, when in my former relationship, maybe we used to touch and stuff like that. You're saying it, you're trying to tell him, but you've not been able to tell him. You will not say it's in front of your counselor. Yes, you don't say it's in front of your counselor, right? And you're not, I don't know, is it okay to touch? The counselor will not ask him, do you think it's okay? You use the opportunity now and hear his mindset concerning touching. Do you understand? And the counselor will now be there as a mediator to put clarity, set things right. These few points of mine.
Thank you so much. I mean, this has been loaded. This has been loaded. This has been loaded, and we are really grateful for making the time. I just want to ask if you have any final words, anybody on this live session, whether they are married, whether they are single, whether they found somebody and they are dating, or they are in a courtship. Is there any final words you want to tell them?
Okay. I will start with it's graduates. We'll start with the singles. You're single, you don't have any business having sex. It might be harsh, might sound harsh, but it is what it is. Right, you don't have any business having sex. But if you've for some reason had sex, you're not a damaged goods. You're not a bad person. Don't let the devil hold it over your head. Don't let the devil now make you blackmail you
Yeah.
with it, right? We are free. We are free. God has, he sent his son, died for us, and wiped us free, right? We are free, and you are free indeed. So you need to wake up, stand up from that place, and refuse to go back there.
Yeah.
Go back, refuse to go back there. If the devil comes and tell him, get out. Do you know whose blood I'm standing in? Are you aware whose blood I'm standing in? Right? So you tell him to get out. Then when it comes to the married people, please, sex is beautiful, sex is good, sex is a gift from God for married people. Enjoy it. It's your right to enjoy it. It's your right to enjoy it. Like the prodigal son. So, sorry, on Tuesday, we're talking about parables and we're talking about the prodigal son. And it was on Tuesday that I realized that in the Bible there, it says that the prodigal son came and demanded his birthright, his rights, his own inheritance from his father. But the Bible recorded that the father shared it for them. One person asked for it. When the sharing was done, hey, my papa is here, Peter is here.
Pastor K.
So when the Bible recorded that when it was shared, it shared for them, did not share for him. So one person went in and collected his own and left, right? The second person decided to stay. It was a choice. He chose not to collect his own. So even when the prodigal son came back, the father still restored his sonship, right? Gave him everything. And when the brother came and said, why did you do this? He told the father told him, hello, everything is yours. Everything is yours. Now you don't collect. Do you understand? So we know, so it's painful that he knew that it was his own, but he did not demand it. He didn't take it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I'm telling the married people here like this: sex is sweet, sex is good, sex is your right. Hey,
hello, people. How are you guys?
Thank you, Pastor K. Yeah.
I was wondering why my picture was going one side.
What's the topic?
Reigniting sexual intimacy in marriage.
That's very necessary and very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
I'm out here in Halifax, Canada. We just finished our Halifax tour.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
So it's good to reignite the intimacy.
Yes.
And I'm happy more people are having this discussion because it's a topic people don't talk about. Our sex education in church just ends at don't fornicate. After that, we don't care what people are going to do, and there's a lot of other discussions after that nobody talks about. So there's so much going on sexually in marital or in bed, in people's marriages, but no safe place to talk about it. So I'm happy you guys are having this discussion. I want to encourage people, please, be open to such discussions. Let's learn about it. Sex is a beautiful thing that God made, but many people are not tapping into it. Married people. So well done. I just wanted to pop in and say hello. Love you guys. Keep the job going. Well done. All right.
Thank you,
and all the best with that tour too.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we will. We have one more city to go, Regina.
Yeah.
We have Regina to go. Halifax today was beautiful. Great turnout. Yeah, but we have Regina to go. So all right, keep up the good work, guys. Well done. Well done.
Thank
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay. So, Piki Kuku said it. It's your right.
Yeah.
It's your right. Sex is your right in marriage. No, not just sex. Good sex is your right in marriage. Collect it with your full chest. Jonathan, do like the prodigal son, right? It's my own. I want to collect it.
Yeah.
Demand for it and collect it to your full chest. Send the devil away with his guilt. Send him away with his blackmail.
Yeah.
He's not even in the funny thing that he's not even there. Do you understand? Are the ones that are just living in the guilt and everything. Come out, say, guy, this thing is our own. How can we make it work?
Yeah.
Right? Or babe, this thing is our own. How can we make it work? How can we make it better? Or if you are short of how to make it better, Wholesome Sexuality here. Come, we will teach you. We will help. We'll first reset the brain, right? Then we will teach you what should be done. Then we will teach you based on the understanding of the both of you. Now teach you how to do it exactly the way God said it. Because people think because we are Christians, there are restrictions. You cannot do this. You cannot do that. Come, we're people. We're people.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And to everybody that has stayed on to this point, I know that you have learned so much, because I have learned so much. And look, if you need any help, please don't sit and perish. As one of my lecturers used to say, there's so much help out there. Wholesome Sexuality is just a click of the button away, and you have somebody attending to you. Your marriage is to be enjoyed. Sex is an important part of your marriage. Yes, kids are important. Yes, getting the bills paid are important. But sex is also important. That is why the Bible says, God says we should save it for marriage. So if you are not enjoying the sex in your marriage, here you have been given an invitation by Wholesome Sexuality. Look, send a DM today, right now, after this live session. Follow Wholesome Sexuality, and there's so much to learn on the page. Even if you don't send a DM, just follow, because you're going to learn so much. And I want to say
we have a YouTube channel. Sorry, we have a YouTube channel. So most of the things I say on Instagram, I do lives on. Already have videos recorded on YouTube. The channel is Wholesome Sexuality. Once you type Wholesome Sexuality on YouTube, it will come up. You see my face. So it has videos, educative videos, interesting too, a bit of play and fun here and there, but the message is clear. Sex is good, sex is sweet, sex should be enjoyed and not endured. So it's a good place to go and binge on. And then if you have a spouse that is not hearing word, you just be sending the person link. Yes, that as you cannot have the conversation with the person, you just send the person link here. You just push the link here. Small. You'll be sending it, or sometimes you just play it. My voice will be ringing in your living room. Your spouse is somewhere else hearing. You have to do it. This is how to do it. Sex is good. Sex is beautiful. Be happy to rewire the mind. And then if all those ones are not working, you now come in. We sit down and have one-on-one sessions with you. And trust me, if God created something, it's good. It's
powerful. Thank you so much, and thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to everybody that has stayed on this live session and enjoyed it. Please be sure to take care of yourself. Sex is beautiful if you're having it with the right person in the right context. So let's enjoy our marriages. Let's enjoy our partners. They are ours to be enjoyed. Thank you so much again for doing this with us. We will definitely invite you again for another session. So till then,
no problem. Thank you very much. Good night.
Bye.